The top 5 players from this qualifier today go to the Monday qualifier for the Torrey Pines tournament. On this hole, Victor has nearly driven the green. He's got about a 30-yard pitch shot over a hill, and hopefully he'll hit it close. That was a great shot. Victor's got about a 2-footer for birdie on the first hole. Well, I'm pretty excited to show everybody this. This is my rough draft of my book, The Hogan Code. I'm pretty proud of it. I think it's very unique in the world of golf books. It tells my story about how I've improved my golf game. I talk about the teachers that have influenced me. And I give my interpretation of Ben Hogan's technique, which I mostly gleaned from these 2 books. If you don't have this book, it's really worth getting, because this is his instructional book. These were magazine articles that were compiled. They're both fantastic. But a lot of the things that I really think are interesting is when I started my swing evolution, the first year, I never even intended to try and look like Ben Hogan. I just wanted to play better. And I had a freak accident the last golfing day of the year in 2010 that actually made me realize I could look like Ben Hogan, but that's a whole nother story. But I talk about a lot of things in here, like I have 3 Hogan fundamentals that I think you absolutely have to understand if you're going to improve your golf swing in this classic style. And I'm basically saying the same thing that Ben Hogan said, but I think that it's a lot easier to understand the way that I'm putting it in this book. So I'm really, really excited. I think it's just a matter of time before this is done. But all through this, I'm really, really looking forward to being able to share this with the public. So I hope that you guys like it, and it's certainly been worth all the effort. Hey YouTube, I've got some insane and crazy good news. Have you ever thought about being in a golf magazine? Well, I've never really thought about it, but guess what? I was contacted by one of the biggest golf magazines in the UK that wants to do a story to help us launch the Hogan Code. Yay! How awesome is that? So I talked to Howard Boylan, our all-star photographer, to see what the best landscape would be for great golf photography. And he said, a course with minimal trees and dramatic landscapes. Well, where the heck am I gonna find that? Luckily, my friend Victor Rodriguez put me in touch with John Lee at Terra-Lago, and it is the baddest golf course in the desert. So we're gonna be traveling a few hours out of town to shoot these photographs. Now, the good news is the pictures will be absolutely breathtaking. The bad news is it's going to add more expenses to my little project. Now, of course, I didn't have a publisher come to me and say, hey son, I'd like to give you $50,000 advance to tell me your thoughts on Ben Hogan. But that's okay, because I've got the greatest subscribers in the world and we're 80% of the way to our goal. So we're going to be really, really looking good. Obviously, we're going to have to get hotel rooms, gas, pay for all our meals and expenses, etc. So a little boost would help me out. So if you want to go to GoFundMe.com, you can chip in a little bit for the Hogan Code. So at any rate, this is really, really great news. Now, I wanted to leave you with a quick tip, because I think that Ben Hogan basically told us everything. 90% of what I say is simply reiterating what he said, but in a slightly different way. So when he talks about swinging under the pane of glass, all he's saying is to swing the club around our body and not over our shoulder in a chop swing. All these teachers who talk about we want to keep the club in front of us, They're teaching you a chop swing. I don't believe in it. And also, when they talk about you don't want to get stuck, well shoot, Hogan must have been stuck on every golf swing if that's the case. So why don't you give it a try? Keep that club underneath the pane of glass, especially on the downswing. And this is going to be the most amazing golf year ever. So I've only got 2 weeks left before my photo shoot for my book, and I'm really working on my low left release. I've kind of lost that a little bit, so I'm trying to find it again. I think it's an important part of the Hogan swing. As much as I've talked about the deep takeaway, there's the deep follow through. So the deep follow through is what I'm working on today. Again, this is accenting swinging around the body and not down the line.